Mr. Deputy Speaker, before I proceed with my speech, I would like to declare my interest. I'm the advisor for Singapore Swimming Association and past president of Singapore Table Tennis Association. If I were to ask the question, are we a sporting nation? I'm sure some will say yes, some will say no. Yes, because there are many exercise stations in our residential precincts, many brisk walk groups, we have Vision 2030, and we have Olympic gold medal and Paralympic gold medals. But many would still say no, we have yet to be a sporting nation. Why? There are several reasons. I will give you 4 reasons. First, the episode of live telecast of Olympics. We nearly missed the opportunity to witness live the historical moment presented by our Joseph Schooling. The Sunday before the start of the Olympics, that is 31st July, which was 6 days before opening ceremony, our minister reiterated that watching delay broadcast would be a different way of celebrating. Immediately, there was a lot of response at the ground, a lot of discussion in the coffee shops, friends gatherings, and a lot of my residents asked me, is our government too calculative? And they say that we can afford to pay hundreds of millions of dollars for EPL. And yet, we cannot afford to pay for Olympic live telecast. And I have residents who even suggest, why don't we collect $1 from each of us? 6 million people, $6 million. And for those of you who are sporting fans, you will know that it is miles apart, a lot of difference compared to watching live telecast and delay telecast. If you already know the result, the excitement is no longer there. Do we understand sports enough? Is there lack of sporting culture? We as a nation send athletes to compete in the Olympics was not prepared to fork out money for live telecasts. Yet we proclaim we know the importance and the value of sports in unifying people, in inspiring people, etc., etc. We must not leave this to commercial decision. An opportunity to unite the nation should not be left to a commercial decision. I hope that in future, the relevant bodies, MCCY, MediaCorp, cable TV operators, and telco companies can pool their resources together and prepare their negotiations far ahead of time, allocate the budget to ensure we are guaranteed a contract to broadcast major sporting events live, including all major games that our athletes taking part in. For a first world nation, it is almost unthinkable if Singaporeans are denied of this. Some joke that they have to go to neighboring countries during the Olympic period. We are well known for planning ahead, and I'm sure we can do it. Second reason, it is national service deferment. I had lunch with May and Colin before May left for Rio. And I know May for a long time. And from time to time, she will share with me the challenges, the problems that she's facing. And during that lunch, she shared with me her number 1 headache at that time, that is Joseph Schooling's NS deferment. She says she has submitted reports. However, there's no concrete answer. It gives people the impression our MINDEF is high-handed, is too rigid, and they'll tell you the answer when they are ready to give you the answer. And MCCY give people the impression that either they have no power or not interested. And some civil servants even think that Olympic medals are not important. So our poor Joseph Schooling was under great pressure, not just to prepare for Olympic. He has to deal with the problem of whether he need to come back for NS after end August. Luckily, he turned pressure into strength, and the rest is history. Following his win, there has been an outpouring of support for greater flexibility of deferment from national service for local athletes. Evidently, Singaporeans do consider our athletes' abilities to represent our country to be important. I appreciate that after 3 years of debate in this House and much appeals from the parents and NSA, MINDEF changed its policy to let Joseph Schooling and Kwah Chen Wen defer NS until end August 2016. But still, deferment is ad hoc and only case-by-case basis. So parents are still left unsure if they should support their sons in their desire to pursue their sporting dream, or whether they should take the proven route and get back to the academic road. I think Ministry of Defense and the Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth could have done better in supporting our Olympic-bound athletes. They should work together to come up with a policy for our sportsmen so that everyone can have a transparent and be clear about what they can expect and what standards they have to achieve in order to pursue their career in the sporting world. In Korea, all male citizens are required to undergo 21 months of compulsory military service. I was told that Korean athletes representing their country get to decide when they serve their national service, so long as they serve before they turn 30 years old. As in the case of Singapore, the issue is a thorny one. The conscription law in Korea states that those who have contributed significantly to the nation through athletic or artistic skills are exempt from military duties. The only requirement is that they must go through 4 weeks of combat training. This law currently exempts athletes who win a medal at the Olympic or finish first in ASEAN Games. In Singapore, athletes falling under this group is very small. For Rio Olympic, it's only Kwah Chen Wen and Joseph Schooling. Can we afford to let them decide their NS deferment? I'm sure we can. As Ang Peng Siong mentioned in his recent interview, one will need at least 2 Olympic cycles or even more in order to realize their Olympic dream. And if the athletes, the swimmers, can decide their own NS deferment, it will take away this additional pressure of what if they have to come back to serve the NS. Does it mean that their dream of Olympic is dashed? Third reason, more funding for Singapore Sports School. I think everybody knows, a lot of people knows that May and Colin spent more than $1 million on Joseph Schooling. Not many parents can spend that $1 million. While the SPEC scholarship supports elite athletes and para-athletes, can government do more? Can we further enhance sports school or NSAs? Can we set aside more funding so that we can tailor-make programs for those athletes that show potential? We can send athletes with potential overseas for longer-term attachment. For example, 1 to 2 years in bowl school in USA for swimmers. I was told that it is not so much of the curriculum, but because over there, it gives the swimmers a lot more opportunity to compete. And fourth reason, sports for every student who is keen in sports. When I told my friends that I'm going to speak in Parliament on this topic, and they tell me that, yes, we need to have more opportunity for every student who is keen in sports to play sports in school. I thought this is already being made available. So I asked the principal in schools. Yes, they told me, yes, every student got a chance to play because they can play during recess time. How long is recess time? 30 minutes. And they have to buy food and then play sports at the same time. I studied in a school in a neighboring country. I remember that for primary school, we play every day. Our school only had 2 table tennis tables put along the corridor. We have 1 basketball court, which is clay court. And we play after school until it's dark. And in my secondary school, it is better equipped. It has all the sports club, badminton club, table tennis club, basketball club, netball club, athletics club. And we are free to join any clubs. We can join more than 1 clubs. And that is why I could play many different sports, and I represented NTU in 5 games. Sporting culture should start from young, not about winning inter-school. And providing platform to all students to learn sports of their choice, I think, should be part and parcel of the education. Sports, we all know, unite people across all ages and all cultures. In today's context, this unifying factor is very important. We worry about race relations, and here is a platform available for us to tap to unite the citizens. Sport promotes team spirit and imbues camaraderie among the participants. Look at how people from across races come together before the TV screens to watch the Olympics, watch the soccer matches, etc. It is so inspiring to see them united and enjoying themselves as they shout themselves hoarse. I would like to take this chance to congratulate Yip Pin Siu for her gold medal and Teresa Goh on her bronze medal, and to wish all our Paralympians the best. The athletic feats show the disabled that anything is possible. At the same time, our support for Paralympians show the disabled that they are valued members of our community. So while we look into how to improve support for athletes, I hope any improvements will also apply to para-athletes. And we keep looking for more para-athletes by encouraging disabled people to pursue sports. In conclusion, there is quite some way to be a sporting nation. We have made progress. We must not rest on our laurels. There is so much more we can and need to do. Unlike other countries with a much larger pool of talents and a far longer history of sporting achievements, we have to invest more efforts and wisdom in helping Singapore and her athletes pursue greater heights in sports arena. More importantly, we must not allow stagnation to erase the hard work that everyone, especially our athletes, has put in. I urge for greater flexibility, empathy, and planning to help us keep moving towards our goal of making Singapore a truly sporting nation with great sporting culture at all levels. Thank you.